Now, there is no doubt about it that the Walt Disney Company and the executives, including CEO Bob Iger, they are in full panic mode over all of their divisions and their multiple brands out there that have been failing one after the other, alright? Such as Star Wars, Marvel, and now the Disney live-action remakes, such as the upcoming Snow White 2025 film starring Rachel Zegler, is also going through a rough phase as we speak after all the things that Rachel Zegler did in the last couple of days, mind you. After pushing her political opinion on social media in the most awful way possible out there that completely backfired, where Disney had to step in, forced her to apologize, and it's still not working to this very day. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, there are many talking heads out there that are willing to protect Disney at all costs, alright? Not just because they are employed or are a part of their business, but they also take it on a personal level. Yes, we're talking about Joy Behar. Yes, we're talking about Whoopi Goldberg. But the biggest one of all, Jimmy Kimmel, alright? Via the Jimmy Kimmel live show, he is now actually in full force to protect Rachel Zegler and to protect the Snow White 2025 film, and is taking it on a personal level. Let's discuss, shall we? Now, one thing about all of this is that we know that Rachel Zegler is by far one of the most insufferable actresses in the film industry, not just because she is very self-absorbed when it comes to her overall personality, but she attacks the general public left and right for having a different opinion, and for also calling out for what the Snow White 2025 film really is all about. It's all about an ideology, it's all about an agenda, and, well, she actually says it's quite the opposite. Now, what's interesting about this has a lot more to do with Jimmy Kimmel and what he's doing right now with the whole Rachel Zegler Backlash situation. Now, with the Walt Disney Company and all of their divisions going through serious cutbacks and gaining so much backlash, one monumental development now involves more to do with Rachel Zegler and her impact on the company and her recent behavior based on recent decisions that were made. Now, one major development now going on involves Jimmy Kimmel and how he is actually offended over the Rachel Zegler backlash behind the scenes. Now, already the ABC executives, including Jimmy Kimmel, have come to a deal that was organized by the Walt Disney Company to create a form of damage control to save Rachel Zegler's career. As Jimmy reportedly takes this very personally and shares her political opinion as well, already Kimmel is preparing to have Rachel Zegler on his show, the Jimmy Kimmel Live Show, by this December or January the latest, to not only promote Snow White, but to also call out the critics of Rachel Zegler, where both Rachel and Kimmel are planning to play the blame game train by labeling this as a politically motivated boycott for the film. Already Kimmel had gone through numerous conversations with Zegler, where she is set to make a massive and lengthy speech to the general public on the Jimmy Kimmel Live Show, where she will blame misogyny, sexism, and bigotry as the source of why her career is now in shambles, according to her. And this argument that she will be addressing will be organized completely by Jimmy Kimmel, who again is taking this on a personal level since he is a fan of Rachel Zegler through both her acting and politics. To make matters even worse for both Rachel and Jimmy Kimmel is that already some Disney board of directors are warning the ABC executives that put this together as well that this will only make things worse and will also backfire, while other Disney board members are in full support of this swift move that was also organized by Disney CEO Bob Iger, who is working with Jimmy Kimmel hand in hand to help turn this movie into a success since they can't afford a major loss in 2025, especially a film that centers on a character embedded in pop culture between the 1937 film and the Brothers Grimm tale that brought the Snow White character to life. Now guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, Jimmy Kimmel takes a lot of things personally. It's not a big shocker that he's taking the Rachel Zegler backlash personally as well. And to be quite honest, I think it has a lot to do with the connection that he has with her because of how inflammatory her comments and her beliefs really are when it comes to her political views and how she spews that on social media. I think Jimmy Kimmel looks at that as a form of inspiration. Just my take on that, to be honest, but that's why they have a connection there. That's why he's taking this personally. Now again, Jimmy Kimmel, like I said just a couple of seconds ago, he takes everything personally. He takes a lot of things on a personal level, not just because he's employed by Disney, but anyone who is associated with Disney and they go through a lot of backlash, he protects them like no tomorrow. He did the same exact thing with Mark Hamill. He did the same exact thing with director Rian Johnson of The Last Jedi. And that's just to name a couple of scenarios that occurred within the past couple of years. I mean, I can go on about this all day. But Rachel Zegler, alright, very much an insufferable actress, definitely outperforming Amandla Stenberg, Brie Larson, Tatiana Maslany. She's really at the top of the list right now, and it's only making matters worse. Now, to continue on here, this is where it really goes downhill, is that Rachel is the one, of course, who also worked with her agent and manager to set up the dates for the Jimmy Kimmel Live show to get her argument out to the public and into the mainstream media instead of just social media. This was said to be Zegler's only option, since other media outlets, believe it or not, declined to allow Zegler on their program to do such a thing. These programs were not associated with the Walt Disney Company, by the way, or ABC. In addition to all of this, Zegler is also set to make the speech and will present herself challenging the public by standing beside Jimmy Kimmel, literally, on stage for one of the upcoming episodes. An exact date is still in the works right now, but it is geared for the holiday season. So that's right around December, late November, the later days of this month, more leaning toward December. But what's interesting about this is the fact that you have Jimmy Kimmel organizing this and really trying to put Rachel Zegler, propping her up, putting her in the front seat to call out the critics and to blame game and to actually say, oh, it's all because of sexism and bigotry and misogyny as to why my career is not doing so hot right now. Now, we all know that Y2K most likely is not going to be a box office hit. Snow White 2025 most likely won't be a box office hit either. It might be similar to what happened with The Little Mermaid, where it did, okay internationally, but it did horrifically when it came to the domestic margins. What's interesting about this too is that you also have Jimmy Kimmel trying to really kind of allow a lot of these Disney actresses on board to actually give them a platform. I think it's only going to make his ratings worse. To tell you guys the truth, I think it's going to backfire on him as well. And it's also going to backfire on Rachel Zegler. Look, we know that Rachel Zegler is not in a good spot right now after all the comments that she made. Regardless of that fake apology, since it was forced by the Walt Disney Company and its executives, and it was, this is not going to work in the least, alright? When you're going to blame misogyny, sexism, and bigotry as to why you're not getting as many roles as you would like to, it's gonna really bite, back. It really is. And I think at the end of the day as well, Jimmy Kimmel, I think his days are numbered. If ratings continue to tank like this, week by week, he only had a little surge after the crying incident because people wanted to tune in and watch that. He had a little surge from that, a little spike, if you will, but that really just went downhill from there. So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.